Is going to be a practical guide to manifestation. Why? Because manifestation is the key to unlocking the life of your dreams. And anyone who performs at a high level in life understands there are natural forces at work. And if you can have the natural forces be on your side, you're going to be much better positioned to live a really great life. So today I'm going to take you through in this video how you can easily, keyword easily, manifest the life of your dreams. This video is not going to be for everyone. So if you're looking for a quick fix, dopamine type video to try and just feel a little bit better and not actually do anything, you're not going to get any value out of this video. But if you're someone who genuinely wants to change your life, if you've been struggling and you've been suffering and you feel like there's just something out there that's more, bigger, more important, better for you in your life, and you're willing to invest the time and the energy into creating a new life that is better, this video is going to give you everything that you need to know to be able to do that. I'm Adam Holmes. I'm a songwriter from Edinburgh in Scotland, and I've been self-employed for 15 years. I've not had a boss for 15 years. I have been at a good weight and healthy. I've been happy. I'm in a good relationship. I have good friends. I live in a nice place. And all of that comes from a space where when I grew up, I didn't have those things. I didn't grow up in a particularly advantaged background. And so when I say to you, this is how you manifest a great life, I'm not saying it from a position of someone who came from everything and just was a trust fund kid that built this amazing life. I built an amazing life from the ground up. And here is how I did it. I just want to make sure you guys can hear me before I carry on and get into it. There's quite a few of you streaming. So if someone could just, give me a little sign that you can hear me okay, that would be a big help. I'm seeing quite a few of you guys are talking about joining the club, which is brilliant. My club is a private members community. There are 1,000 of us in there. I am assuming that you guys can hear me. I'm really hoping so. If someone could be so kind as to drop a little comment so that I know and I can get into... I can hear you. Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. So manifestation is a very misunderstood concept, right? Because many people think manifestation just means thinking, okay? It doesn't mean thinking. It's not about thinking. But here is how you manifest anything, okay? I'm going to take you through it. This will apply to anything. Like I say, it is not going to be for everybody. And so if you're not someone who wants to, take risks, if you're not someone who wants to be adventurous, this talk probably isn't for you. But if you're willing to take risks, this will be for you. Okay, the main problem that I see when people are trying to manifest stuff is they focus on this, right? How? How am I going to do it? When actually, here are the things that are way more important. I'm going to get into why, but here are the things that are way more important. Okay, most people think how you're going to manifest your dream life is the most important thing, and it isn't. Let's take an example. Let's say you want to create £100,000 as a self-employed artist. And by the way, I apologize in advance for my handwriting, but hopefully the concepts, make it worth it. Let's say you want to manifest £100,000 as a self-employed artist or a self-employed business owner, right? The problem I see is most people immediately think that this, how, is really important. And the issue with that is you on your journey, right? let's say right now you're employed and you don't have a job or a self-employed job. So you on your journey from 0 to 100K, right? Once you've done it and people tell the story of how you did it, and I've done it, the story is going to, sound like this, right? You started there, you worked and worked and worked, and then you got there, right? And once you've done it, the how is going to be obvious. But while you're on the path from 0 to 100K, this is what it feels like, right? It's just very volatile. It's very scary. Similarly, right? If you are fat, and I've been fat, and you want to get thin, same thing. How is going to change depending on where you are in the journey, right? And if you are obsessed with the how, what you're going to actually experience a lot is disappointment, right? And disappointment is not a great feeling to experience in your life. It really stops you from feeling momentum. You need momentum to create, to manifest anything meaningful. Anything significant is always done with a tremendous amount of cheerfulness, right? Disappointment is the opposite of cheerfulness. And I'm saying this, I've created 10 albums, I've built 100-grand businesses, I have manifested my dream house, I've played with many of my heroes, I've done thousands of concerts, I've built one of the world's biggest music Patreons. So I'm not telling you this from the space of someone who's just not walked the walk. I've walked the walk, right? So when you focus on how, you experience disappointment. So what's the solution? What you want to do, and this is the biggest one, guys, is you want to focus on your why. Now, for me, my why was becoming a parent, right? When I became a parent, suddenly my capacity for pain grew. It got much bigger. Now, it's interesting how much your capacity for being in pain can actually grow when you have a really, really good reason to experience the pain. So in my case, I had a daughter. Suddenly, I had this wee girl. She's there looking up at me, and I'm the big man, and I need to provide for her, right? So suddenly, nervous, scared, sad, hard, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because she needs me, right? So my why took me from making, 10K a year to 100K a year, right? Just the sheer volume of determination that I felt towards providing for my daughter, right? Now, if I was focused on the how of how to get there, starting at 10K and going to 100, I tried so many different things and they all failed, but I was committed, I was determined. And the commitment and the determination that came from my why is what took me to where I needed to go. And by the way, I'm using the example of business here. You can use this for anything. It will work for anything that you want to do in your life. Secondly, who, right? Who is way more important than how. So before I was a dad, right, I was hanging out with a lot of people who just like to party. That's what they like to do. I like to do that too. Did I like it? I don't know. I was just basically trying to avoid my own experience, avoid myself. So for a long, long time, I was just hanging out with a bunch of people who honestly, at their core, were sad, right? So it doesn't matter how much, if how you manifest anything is cheerfulness, determination, And don't listen to anyone, by the way, who says you don't need to be determined. It's nonsense. You do need to be determined to create a good life. If you're hanging out with people who are not cheerful, not determined, they're sad, and you say anything to them, and the first thing that they do is they bring you down about it. Yes, you can manifest things. Yes, you can achieve things, but obviously it's going to be way, 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 way harder than if you have a good circle of friends who are happy, who are taking responsibility for themselves. Now, look, what I'm not saying is that you look for people who are perfect, because no one is perfect. It doesn't exist. It's not a thing. That said, what you can find is people who are working. They're willing to do the work on themselves. Jim Rohn said you need to work harder on yourself than your job. I personally am only interested in hanging out with people who are working harder on themselves than their job. I understand why that'll sound strange, and I get that we need to make enough money to live. And I'm going to get into that side of things in a minute. But the point I'm making here is who you're with is more important than how you're going to do it. Because the support is going to be the crucial thing. A traveling companion. You need a traveling companion, right? Who? You need support. This is getting messy. Let me just rub this out. Okay, obviously in this example, let's just keep going with this, like 10K to 100K in earnings because it's one that everyone can understand, right? But obviously this is the same if you wanted to lose fat, if you wanted to have a better relationship with your kids, if you wanted to grow your social media, if you wanted to find really great new friends, right? This is all true. And when you're on the journey of finding really great friends, what I'd recommend is if you don't have good friends, your own company is not something to be afraid of. Don't be afraid of your own company if that's the best that you've got, right? Who is support? Now, your why, like I said, is basically your sense of courage and your willingness to feel, right? Which equals determination. What is courage? Courage is just willingness to feel, right? That's all courage is. You can't experience courage without just feeling bad. Basically, courage is feeling bad, right? So if you think about a car, hopefully you can, I'll draw up here so you can see, right? Let's think about a car that's going to take you to where you need to go. So how is a distraction? Who is your traveling companion? So it could be like the shell of your car is like who, right? Your why is courage and the willingness to feel. And the final piece in a manifestation equation is when. Now, why am I saying when? When is important because when creates momentum. Now, I want to be really clear. I want to let you know that when I say when, in terms of manifesting whatever it is you want to manifest, we don't use the when as a way to beat ourselves up. We just use the when as a way to create energy. I have a goal right now that I'm going to create 5,000 members in my club. Now, I could easily, right now I have 1,000, right? I built that in a year. I'm going to build 5,000, right? Now, I built 1,000 in 1 year, which is amazing. I built one of the world's biggest music Patreons in a year organically with zero ads, nothing, just me grinding on my phone, right? Which is amazing. Now, I set for myself, because I like 6-month goals, a 6-month goal to get to 5,000 club members, right? Now, the reason why I've set a 6-month goal is because when I set goals that are time sensitive, it generates energy and it generates ideas. Now, the problem is, if I set a goal that I said, I want to get to 1,100 members in 2 months, right? I know exactly how I would do that. I know how I'd do that. I would just keep doing the things that I'm doing right now, and I would get there. I will get there in a month without even thinking about it. I've already learned what I need to learn. But the thing with manifestation of any kind is what it actually comes down to is knowledge and learning. So to get more in life, you have to be more. To get more, you have to be more. You have to learn more. So when I set the goal for 5,000 members, it forces me, because it's in a 6-month period, it forces me to learn stuff. So because of that 6-month goal, I learned live streaming, I'm learning Facebook ads, I'm learning funnels, I'm learning mailing lists, I'm learning so much at a very, very accelerated rate. So really, when you think about it, all manifestation is really is accelerated, oh my God, accelerated learning, right? Now you think about children are amazing. Like my daughter, she's constantly learning. She's only 7 years old and she's just obsessed. She is just totally, totally obsessed about learning as much as she possibly can. And something happens, right? When people go from 20 years old to 60, it's often like their sense of what they want to learn just goes down and down. And what I want to offer you is that manifestation is actually more than anything just the principle of committing to continuing your evolvement, right? Because the conventional learning systems will say you've learned most of what you need to learn by 25, right? Which to me is just insane. I stay young because I'm 35 years old and I stay young because I'm always learning. I'm always growing. And that's the principle on how I've manifested 10 albums, my dream life, dream partner, hundreds of thousands of pounds, one of the biggest music and creativity Patreons in the world, an amazing life full of experiences I enjoy, a healthy body, a healthy mind. As someone who came from abuse and trauma and has crippling ADHD, I have a healthy, stable mind, right? And this is what I'm showing you. So the most important thing when you're manifesting anything, right, is your foundation. Now, what do I mean by foundation? Well, you stand on your foundation, right? Now, your foundation is built on 3 things. And it's very, very simple, but it's very, very difficult to do. And there's not many people who do it well because the societal normal is actually pretty rough. It's pretty normal to be in debt and overweight and in bad relationships and blame people for things and not be creatively fulfilled. All those things are pretty normal, right? So the insidious thing about this is that no one would blame you for quote unquote living a normal life. But the problem is a normal life is not usually that great of a life. Now, I'm not saying that if you're satisfied with your life, that's a problem. That's not what I'm talking about. Obviously, there are people, all sorts of different people experiencing and enjoying a complete variety of different kinds of life. So I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is if you right now feel empty and you feel like something is missing, then this is the foundation you need to create for yourself. And it's based on 3 things: sleep, diet, exercise. Now, before you switch off in your brain and go, I know that, okay, fine, but are you actually doing it? Be honest. Are you actually taking care of these things? And if you're not, do you have a story that comes up? Well, I can't that because this. I can't that because this. I can't that because this. It's a narrative that you have, right? I have been through all of the different narratives on the reasons why I couldn't do these things. Okay. I've been there. I get it. I know. I understand. Now I'm going to tell you, that said, how I actually moved through them. And it's pretty simple. It's not complicated. Again, it's simple, but it's not easy. This is not going to be easy. Okay, sleep. What I recommend, and I don't recommend this for everything, but I recommend this for sleep, is hypnosis. Why? Well, sleep is about your nervous system. If you're not sleeping, it's because you don't feel safe. And if you don't feel safe, it's because there's unconscious beliefs in your nervous system, which are causing you subconscious anxiety and keeping you awake because you're alert. You don't know how to relax. And hypnosis can teach you how to relax. Diet. You're struggling with your diet. The solution is therapy. You need to go to therapy. It's not about seeing a nutritionist. It's not about trying different diets. It's not about trying different things. It is about understanding your relationship with food. Now, if your relationship with food is bad, it doesn't matter if you have a diet. It doesn't matter if you want to do the right thing. It doesn't matter if you're trying really hard, because you can't actually manage it because you don't have a good relationship with it. You don't understand it. So you need to go to therapy and change your relationship to food. Chances are you're probably using food as a way to escape what you're experiencing, to escape what you're feeling. Food's a drug. Most people are just using food as a way to avoid uncomfortable emotions. I know I was for a long time. Therapy is what helped me with that. Finally, exercise. Again, you need to go to therapy, okay? If you're not doing these things regularly and you're struggling to do them regularly, then you're not in control of your life. Your cells want to regenerate. You want to feel like you're moving. That's what your body was designed to do. We're hunter-gatherers. We're designed to move. We're designed to regenerate our cells, okay? So sleep, diet, exercise. If you don't know what to do, see a hypnotist for your sleep, see a therapist for your diet, see a therapist about exercise. If you've got negative stories that are coming up about my recommendation, or that's not me or whatever, it doesn't matter if it's you. You just have to do it because it's good for you. It doesn't matter. It wasn't me for ages either. And I just changed the way I felt about it. I didn't box for boxing training. I didn't box for ages. And then I realized that I'm a dad to a little girl. I have a responsibility to be able to fight. You know, I don't want to. I don't like going, but I have a responsibility to do it. Similarly, if you're a human being and you're physically capable, you have a responsibility to work out your body and look after your body. Feeling good equals doing good, right? And that's how you do it. Feeling good equals doing good, right? You can't manifest anything when the foundation is broken. So you have to fix the foundation. That's how you do that. Okay, next up, free time, right? You need free time to manifest, okay? Now, what I recommend, and this is where we're just going to get a bit businessy and a bit more technical and a little bit, put some numbers on it and give you some ideas on how you can, this is assuming you've built that foundation. What I'd actually add in that I didn't is I'd have 10K saved, right? You need to have that. For me, for such a long time, just felt like such a hard thing to do. I have really bad ADHD. I know anyone who has it can relate to that. It's a really tough thing to do, but I had to get to that level. And the funny thing is, once you get to that level, more money comes to you, more opportunities come to you, build from there. But you need to save up 10K as well. You need to have that to regulate your nervous system so you're not stressing, so that you know that you can take a bit more risk, right? Next up, you need to have free time. How do you get free time? What you need to do is spend a couple of hours a day, right? You can build a really cool business with 2 hours a day, okay? Now, you need the free time, but what I recommend is you make 2K a month to live on, and you learn how to live on 2K a month. So once you know how to live on 2K a month, and you have your 2 hours of free time, what you want to do is you want to start making money somehow. And the way to make money is to build a brand, offer someone value, but most of all, the way that you make some money is by being cheerful, appreciative, and ultimately cleaning up your attitude, right? 2 years ago, I did not know how to do social media, okay? Now, was that a problem with social media, right? Or was it a problem with me? A year ago, I didn't know how to use automation for any of my posts. Was that a problem with automation, or was that a problem with me? 3 years ago, I didn't know anything about investing and stocks and ISAs and Bitcoin or any of that stuff. And was that a problem with those things, or was it a problem with me? And this is where we come back to our core initial point about manifestation, which is actually manifestation is a commitment to learning. Now, learning sounds really awesome, right? But really, when you think about what learning actually is, it's basically your willingness to feel stupid, right? Like over the last couple of months, I've been doing Facebook ads and learning them. I don't enjoy it. It feels horrible. Let me change that, guys. And now I'm starting to enjoy it a little bit. But for the longest time, I'd open up the laptop, look at it, and it just looked like a mess. I just didn't understand it. It was horrible. I feel quite competent singing and playing guitar now. Wasn't always the case. I feel competent creating content. Wasn't always the case. I feel confident and competent talking on camera. That definitely wasn't always the case. But the superpower in manifestation is the willingness to feel stupid, the willingness to experience negative emotion and just continue in spite of it. Now, what you really want to do is build quality things, right? I spent years building quality things. So let's just say you want to write a book, okay? Let me ask you a question. Why have you not written that book already? The reason is because you're afraid of it not being perfect. But if you just wrote 3 books, one of them would probably be not that bad, right? And that's how you learn. That's how you grow. So volume, just do a lot. Volume is how you learn how to build quality things. You don't learn how to build quality things by thinking about quality things. You learn how to build quality things by making quality things. So finally, the most important thing you need to do if you want to manifest your dream life, right? I'm just being honest here because I know you're on social media, right? I know that this advice would not be for everyone, but the fact that you're watching this on social media, I know YouTube isn't necessarily seen as social media, but it basically is social media. You need to learn how to have a brand, okay? And you don't have a brand right now because you misunderstand what a brand actually is. A brand is just visibility. And visibility equals connection. Okay? So there's no one out there who doesn't want to have connection. We all want to have that, right? And we all want to have money as well, because money is important. We need money to live a good life and feel good and connect people and do cool stuff. So if you're rejecting connection and money, why is that? Think about that. Why would you want to reject that? Now, the best way in 2025 to create visibility, to create connection, and to create money is to have a personal brand. I know that word seems almost a wee bit violent, right? But here's how you build a brand. You just show people stuff you like and help them. That's it. Look, obviously there's way more I could go into about branding, social media, what all this stuff is, but fundamentally, if you're a roofer, or if you're a singer, or if you write books, or if you fly planes, or if you are looking just to meet people in your local area, right? Showing people stuff you like and helping them, connecting to them, is going to be the best option. And the beautiful thing about the internet is you can do it to everyone all over the world. So obviously it's a broad overview. And if I had more time with you, there's way more stuff that we could get into around it. But I wanted to give you a 30-minute video that really just is a practical guide on how you can manifest things in your life. And I'd love to know what you think about it. If you got any value out of it today, do let me know. Drop a comment, smash the like button, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. If you're not already in my club, come and join us. There's 1,000 of us in there. Inside my club, you get weekly demos, live replays. We have a private WhatsApp community. And Lucy, shout out Lucy from the club, who just launched her first crowdfunder, having a year and a half ago never written a song. She learned how to write songs in the club. She launched her first crowdfunder and it hit 10% in a day of its target. So I just want to congratulate Lucy. And I want to thank you guys for your time today. I hope you got some value out of this episode. My club is only $2 a month. If you feel like you got $2 worth of value out of this talk, then you're going to get a lot out of being in the club. There's documentaries, movies, and loads more. If you want to come and join us, all you need to do is comment club. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, you can click the link in the top comment.